Hey, Spirit School. My name is Chloe. For those of you who don't know me, I am a member of the collective. My story is like all of yours. I found Danielle through her podcast, as we do. And yeah, and then I signed up for her mediumship development program, the initiation, and I came into the Spirit School Collective. It was about 3 years ago now. I was in the second cohort of the initiation. So, one of the ways that I love to serve, one of my greatest passions is casting star charts. And last week I read Danielle's post about Spirit School having the Spirit School Collective having their anniversary or birthday. So I felt so inspired to cast a chart and present to you all my findings. So I hope you enjoy this presentation. I'm going to try to keep it like quick and fun and accessible. Um, Disclaimer, astrology is primarily archetypal energy. So, when I talk about Mars and Aries, this is just my take and in the context of the collective. Um, but of course, there are many ways, many, many ways that the energy plays out. So I welcome, all the conversations that you want to have about it. If you'd like to share your takes, that would be wonderful. So I read primarily in equal house system for event charts, projects, businesses, souls, natal charts. But I will read in a whole sign for a traditional whole sign house system when it comes to like forecasting and horoscopes and stuff like that. So I am looking at the Spirit School Collective through Western Tropical Astrology and the equal house system. If by chance you want to follow along and cast the chart for yourself. So the group was born on July 18th, 2020 in Squamish at 4 p.m. And it was initially open to members of the initiation. The group used to be called the Initiation Circle, and it was created by Danielle because the people who had taken the program needed a space to continue their community, to continue learning, to be together in the structure in this format, right? So I'm going to, touch on a few placements. As I said, I am going to try to keep it light and fun. Reading an event chart is similar technique to reading a person's natal chart or a soul chart, but just the context is different. As this is an entity, this is a group rather than a person. But the technique is pretty similar. So, Spirit School Collective has a sun in Cancer in the ninth house, which in modern astrology would be ruled by Sagittarius. So, Sagittarius is incredibly philosophical. They are international. Cancer is very much related to ancestry, to intuition, to cycles as well. So how I would read the sun in Cancer in the ninth house would probably be like an international sanctuary for spiritual teaching and development of mediumship. The Spirit School Collective is a safe space to learn and expand in your beliefs. And this container honors ancestors, enlightenment, and supports the cyclical nature of life. So Cancer sun in the ninth house. The moon and Mercury are also in Cancer, but those fall in the eighth house. They're actually in a conjunction. The degrees are very close together. The moon is at 4 degrees Cancer, and the Mercury placement for this chart is at 7 degrees. So those energies, the moon and Mercury, are undeniably combined, which is really interesting. So this is an indication, of course, of a very strong intuition, of psychic gifts and communication. I feel like being in the eighth house, there's very much a potential for healing and transformation for those who connect in with this space. So that very much resonates with me. When I saw the moon and Mercury together in a water sign, in a water house, it's like, oh, this entity is psychic. Okay, so let's continue here. Right, so opposing the sun in Cancer, we do have a Capricorn stellium. We actually have Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto, all in fairly close degree in the third house, ruled by Gemini in the sign of Capricorn. So Summer 2020 was rather an intense time, for everyone in the world. So it's interesting, to see how these energies played out when we think back, but also, yeah, how they might be in the context of the Spirit School Collective. So Saturn is definitely an underrated placement for sure. I mean, we need structure, we need boundaries. Like people are always going on about Saturn and like what a downer, but no, we need boundaries, trust me. So how I would read like Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter all in conjunction together in Capricorn in the third house would probably be like a supportive community-based structure that offers enlightenment, lifelong learning, connection, and endless opportunities for transformation. And there must be consequences for breaking boundaries. Okay. Like this is a safe space. All right. Energetic hygiene, energetic boundaries. Very important for members of this group for the sustainability and the integrity of the container. Let's move over to let's move over to Gemini. We have the North Node in Gemini in the eighth house, and then we have Venus in Gemini in the seventh house. So when we think about the North Node in astrology, it sort of is like your purpose or like North Star or like guiding light for growth in this lifetime. So seeing that it is in Gemini is really cool because Gemini, of course, is the sign of community, and eighth house being related to Scorpio in modern astrology, we have that like depth and transformation, right? So I would say purpose of the collective is a collaborative community for mediumship and discussions of occult and spiritual topics. Now, the other Gemini placement that the collective has is Venus. Venus in Gemini falls in the seventh house of one-on-one connections. Um, Venus and Gemini is interesting because Venus very much speaks to like, yeah, it's like your taste and your style and like how you relate to others, how you are in relationship, love language, that kind of thing. But it's really about values as well. So this placement suggests that a wide variety of values and beliefs are respected in the Spirit School Collective. We don't all have to think the same way. We don't all have to have the same beliefs. We don't have to have the same values. And there are like open discussions about like how we can grow in our philosophies. So I feel like that's very much aligned to what I've experienced. And Spirit School Collective is like a very unlikely to become a cult. I know we joke about it because we love it so much, but very, very, very unlikely to become a cult with this placement because it remains so open and curious. And it's able to hold conflicting or even opposing beliefs and values, right? The collective is an especially potent container to make friends with people you wouldn't have met otherwise, like that seventh house, that one-on-one connection. I've met so many people, connected with so many people being a member of the Spirit School Collective that I never would have had the opportunity to connect with otherwise if it weren't for Danielle setting up this space. So I definitely find that to be true. Rising sign for the Spirit School Collective is Scorpio, which is hilarious. There is, yeah, the three eighth house placements. There's the Scorpio rising. So we very much have like a strong Scorpio energy in the chart of the Spirit School Collective, right? So how I would read Scorpio rising for this entity is like the collective is seen appears to be a place that will like safely hold members in their deep transformation and support their interest in topics that mainstream might see as occult or taboo, and like that's death, right? And mediumship, like we're able to talk about like end of life and what happens when you die, right? Like those are conversations we're having all the time around here. Another angle, aside from the rising or ascendant, is the midheaven. And the midheaven is in Virgo in the 10th house in this chart. Midheaven relates to the legacy. Sometimes we talk about like vocation and stuff with the midheaven, but I don't think that necessarily applies in this case. Definitely legacy. And this is effortless, like the rising sign, like the ascendant. It just is, right? So I would suggest that the legacy of the Spirit School Collective could be a legacy of healing, because Virgo is the sign of the healer, and an excellent public reputation, given that it's in the 10th house, ruled by Capricorn. Uranus is in Taurus, and it's still in Taurus. So this is an outer planet. It moves very slowly. The collective's Uranus placement falls in the 6th house, which is associated with Virgo in modern astrology. Taurus is like our structures and our stability, right? So given that Uranus relates very much to evolution, I would suggest that our structure will continue to evolve. Used to be called the Initiation Circle. Now it's Spirit School Collective. It could evolve and change names again, and I wouldn't be surprised. We've had platform changes. Initially, we were on Facebook, and then we have upgraded to Mighty Networks. At this point, I can't imagine like a better network to host the Spirit School Collective, but I wouldn't be surprised if it evolved yet again. And of course, like the in-person space, Danielle has a beautiful office and event space on the waterfront in Squamish. So like it evolved to have like a physical space as well too, not just online presence, which is really cool. So with the with Taurus being slow and Uranus being like unpredictable, I'd say, and like also because this placement is like, yeah, like Uranus is like a slower moving planet. I'm gonna read this as like it's the duration of the lifetime or lifespan of the Spirit School Collective. So I can see events, offerings, how members interact with the space and the platform. This will evolve. How we interact with the spaces on a daily basis will evolve throughout the duration of the Spirit School Collective. It's ever changing. It's ever evolving in its structure. Last thing I want to touch on is our Chiron placement. Love talking about Chiron, the wounded healer. It is the deepest wound, but it's also where the healing potential is. We look at Chiron, our Chiron placement, we're able to identify that in others, and we can support others in their healing, and then that indirectly helps us to evolve and us to heal. So it's really fitting, I think, to look at Chiron in the context of like a community space, like the Spirit School Collective. So our Chiron is in Aries, of course. It's been there for a while. It will remain there for a while, and it's in the 5th house of Leo. It's also in a conjunction with Mars. So Chiron's at 9 degrees Aries and Mars is at 11 degrees Aries. So this is a very, very intense and potentially like combustible energy, with a lot of potential. It's like an engine driving our desire for healing, right? So I would suggest that participants, members who come into this space, are probably going to experience an intense and exciting drive to heal and to self-actualize. Now, this is in the 5th house of Leo, so a desire to be recognized and to be seen authentically and to be celebrated. Um, Given that it's Chiron and that there are potentially some wounds involved, I would suggest that members might feel challenged or ashamed even of their desire to be seen and to take up space. This is like a very old wound. It's a deep wound, right? So you'll have that desire, but you might sense some shame around it as well, too. So this is because these deep wounds are being activated when you're in the space, potentially. However, this is also where the medicine is. And what I have definitely seen, what I found personally and in others, is if you are willing to show up and you're willing to embrace the experience, to participate, to take up space and shine your light authentically, that's absolutely a way to heal and grow and evolve. So it is an intense placement. Chiron conjunct Mars in Aries in the fifth house, but it's so evident in the experience, this limitless healing potential for embracing our authenticity and really showing up and participating. Because if you're in the group and you're not necessarily like, doing practice readings or like there's so many different ways to explore. So I mean, it's not like you have to be actively developing even, but just, participating and being authentic in whatever way feels aligned for you. So I hope that you found this video fun. Definitely let me know what you think. It was just to celebrate the birthday of Spirit School Collective. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was interesting. And thank you for this opportunity to share. Happy birthday, Spirit School Collective. And I will see you all, I'll see you all in the community.